Hello, Ancient Spark, and welcome to your deck review. For anybody joining us on YouTube for the first time, this is a series where I, Jonathan Maldhound, look at your PP. That is your deck's premise and practicum. Your premise being the idea of your deck. What do you hope that it does if everything goes right? Your practicum being, what cards did you put in? Do they help it go right or not? So I'll probably spend a couple minutes talking about the idea, if it can happen at the power level we're trying to make it happen at, and then the rest of the time on, well, what cards did you pick? Are there better cards to pick? Should you rebuild this? Should you set it on fire? Yeah. So this one, it's Jin Sakai, but it's not what most of you are probably thinking. We're looking for a shell for Continue Archaeomancer. And so you've been watching too much 3/3 Elk, first off. So we're trying to loop Continue, which is a new Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles card, which is a really good way, a really good way to recur non-token stuff. If you're doing an Aristocrats plan, a sack plan, or you get board wiped that involves important non-token creatures, Continue will get 4 of them back for 2 mana. Incredibly good deal, incredibly good card. And then Archaeomancer is just a lil wizard who lets you get back an instant or sorcery. So the idea, as I understand it, is, well, if Archaeomancer is in the group that dies, I can cast Continue to get them back. When they come back, I can get Continue again, bringing them back. And we're saying we have consistency issues and we need a backup plan, but it's very inconsistent and ends up being some dudes on board a lot of the time. Deck space being divided between finding the main interaction and backup plans and vegetables is a challenge. Main idea is to just explode the table with a recursion loop. How it achieves that and what else it needs to do is up in the air. So this is the first one in a while where I'm going to take primary issue with the idea. Continue Archaeomancer is an interaction I would describe as garnish. This is cool. It is a neat thing that we can do. Building the deck around it does very little. There are ways to make an infinite combo out of this. Those seem unsatisfying to me because those ways are basically just like, okay, well now this is a Gravecrawler combo with extra steps. If that is attractive to you, I know some people like good combos with extra steps. If that's attractive to you, that's what I would recommend. Jin Sakai is probably not the commander. I'm not sure who is, but you would build a combo aristocrat deck and you would just not rely on tokens. Because if you get, I'm not even on Scryfall, but if you get Archaeomancer, Continue, at least one other non-token creature, and Phyrexian Altar, we have infinite ETB, infinite leave the battlefield, infinite arena. My God, I'm so sorry. That's embarrassing. We're immediately at, I can sacrifice things infinitely, I can have things enter infinitely, and I can have things die infinitely. I can also have things leave my graveyard infinitely. So there's a ton of stuff that we can do with that. Let me see if there's just a better commander for you out of the gate. Actually, before I do that, here's an important point to drive home. The main problem you're going to have is this interaction does not make the meat of a deck. This is a cool interaction that can be part of a toolbox that your deck can find attempting to assemble an Aristocrats loop. But ultimately, all we're really getting to is an Aristocrats loop. We're getting to the same thing of like, I've built a very clever recursion deck. Is it a Ashnod's Altar Blood Artist loop? No, it's using Step Through to find Archaeomancer, who's a wizard, and then the stuff we do to capitalize. Okay. Oh, I spelled altar wrong? Fuck me. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry, everybody. I'm an idiot. I don't know why I'm being so grumpy with Scryfall. It's been loading slow all morning. But anyway, like the endpoints that you're going to get to are, okay, well, the thing that makes the most sense to do is we loop over and over again. And if we're going to loop over and over again, we want to sack them for mana. Or We want the things that are entering or leaving the battlefield to make money when they enter or make money when they leave. And so part of that loop could be like we can get a little freaky with it. Like we can say, well, I don't want to do altars. I'm an adult. I'm cool. You can try to build a graveyard pile, or you can build a pile of creatures. Really? Okay. Garbage site. You can build a pile of creatures that involves Ruthless Technomancer. Because this guy, on enter, we sacrifice a creature, make treasure tokens equal to their power. Archaeomancer's power is too little, so one of the other creatures in this pile has to have enough power to pay for continue when we get it back. But no matter how we get there, ultimately, this just ends in I am attempting to infinitely have the same 4 creatures enter and leave the battlefield over and over and over again, which may feel very compelling. And if that is very compelling to you, I will do my best to help us achieve this. But like at the end of the day, it's just a Gravecrawler loop. It's just, hey, I have this guy, or in this case, this gal, who enables me to bring everything back, and now they come back and leave and come back and leave and come back and leave and come back and leave over and over and over and over and over again. And so that makes them a tool in the toolbox. It's a very, very bad pick for a theme of a deck, in my opinion. Yeah, deck space an issue. You're probably not going to have, like, the reason you don't have room for vegetables is because you are mandating that I have to get these 2 cards and whatever 3 creatures are necessary for the pile to work, which is just too many things to then have room for anything else. Versus if this was an Esper Aristocrats deck, and this was one of the many things you could find that went infinite and won you the game, I don't think you would be bothered at all. So I would kill Jin Sakai straight out. I see that you're not too attached to them. Navinriel and Tobias both seem compatible. You are going to have a dirtly early to mid game as long as you are married to the idea of this being what the deck is about. This can be one of the cool interactions in the deck, but the deck should be about, I am doing non-token aristocrat gameplay. So let's look and see if there are any like obvious commanders that are just better from the get-go for non-token aristocrat gameplay. We want Esper. Not really aristocrats. This is knights only. That cares only about tokens. Verena is a little bit more zombies. Woof. Zur, I don't think grabs any part of this, right? Because we have an instant, a creature. The rest of our pile is going to be creatures. That is tough. This is only once a turn, which doesn't really do what we want it to do. You could do, hey, Tim the Malcolm. Hey. CEDH partners have never let anyone down. And then you mentioned Navinriel. They're definitely valid. So this is I can get infinite creatures because I have had infinite things die. Quite frankly, the more I look at these Esper commanders, I'm kind of more and more convinced that you don't even give a shit about the commander. We would just want something with some type of card advantage, because I'm not seeing any commander that helps us in a very obvious way. So we want probably something in the command zone that can quickly get us to some type of deck access. That would lead me towards Marnius Calgar, but we want to be doing specifically non-token stuff if we're going to be setting up a Continue Archaeomancer pile. So I would lean away from Marnius Calgar. Yishtola is just a good card, but it doesn't trigger with Continue. God, if Continue was 3 mana. If Continue was 3 mana. I don't think we give a fuck about playing Hashaton here. And then I don't think we like things like Tibet because they're just so expensive. Like, they're not going to come down for so long. You could do Refine if you wanted to do some type of, like, reanimate game plan, because you're going to get to draw discard, which will get you, you know, it'll give you some type of deck access. This is artifact spells, which don't help us. This is like dipshit control commander, which I don't think helps the politicking situation. You could Toymaker, because that's also more deck access, and it's only 3 mana, so you can start getting deck access early. But we would get into the issue of you would really have to be playing some mind games. But this, God, it's kind of fucked up. This would probably be one of the better options, but we would have to accept that this loop may not happen. And you would have to build the deck to be like, oh, well, this is 3 different infinite aristocrat payoffs and all of the overlapping ways to get there. And either the Celestial Toymaker or Refine is just trying to help me draw into them. And whichever one I hit first is going to be the one I do. I frankly don't think... I realize we have gotten to Jin Sakai as the commander out of desperation. I don't think Jin Sakai is the right pick for this deck. I don't think trying to make this combo the centerpiece of a deck is ever going to work in a satisfying way. Because at any point you could have assembled this combo, it feels to me condescending or combo-sending, if you will, because everything you can do with Continue Archaeomancer is just every other aristocrat loop. But you spent 5 turns, you spent an extra turn tutoring because you needed one more piece than the typical aristocrat loop. So that said, the interesting space that it occupies in my head is, well, I can have an aristocrat deck that now has a backup win loop that people might not see coming, because a lot of the like known entity aristocrat loops people are watching out for. They're gonna get rid of your Gravecrawler, they're gonna get rid of your Forsaken Miner, they're gonna be watching out for like Sephiroth or stuff like that. But you know, you could do like Archaeomancer Continue Infinite Garys. People are watching out for Gary, but they can only watch out for so many creatures. And so what I think this is a very sick in case of emergency button. And all of our problems are caused by attempting to go to it first, right? We have a in case of emergency, break glass, get this katana, and it's like to defend a firearms store. And for some reason, if the firearms store is being attacked by an entity that can't be harmed by bullets but can be harmed by katanas, you get Continue, and then you make it happen. And you're using it you're bringing a katana to a gunfight. Where it's like, no, use the shotgun that's under the front desk, please and thank you. Which is a bit sad, I know, because anytime you find a cute little interaction like this, you want it to be the hero of a deck. And this is not... Again, if anybody, I swear, if anybody gets extremely exhausting in the comments, I will spit. You can make this the hero of a deck. But when you make this the hero of a deck, I think you get into the position that you're currently in, which is you're like, oh man, so much of the deck has to be spent finding it. And even then, once I find it, it's just not doing enough, because the stuff you can plug into this requires the normal aristocrat plugins. I think the only other direction you could go with it, like the ways you could make it weird to try to make it a jank bracket 2 combo, is look for non-token creatures that have weird payoffs. Even then, it's going to be super dirtly because you have to assemble. You're assembling like a 5-card combo for it to be interesting. For it to be not interesting, you're assembling like Continue Archaeomancer, one other creature, and Blood Artist, which is a 4-card combo, which is what most people classify as jank, but even then it's still just like an infinite Blood Artist combo. Which is a shame. Because the ways you could get weird in my head is if you were like, okay, this is an Esper Butts deck, and I play Esper Butts, but my secret win the game infinite is if I assemble Jaws of Defeat, Continue Archaeomancer, and fucking Phyrexian Altar, I guess, I infinitely drop Butts on you. And then it's still in an Aristocrats loop, but it looks just different enough, and that way the meat of the deck can be a different thing. The meat of the deck can be, okay, we're doing Esper Toughness Matters. Is there an Esper Toughness Matters commander? I don't rightly know, but that is where my head would be, is you need to find something where the main thrust of the deck can be totally different, and then this package can like piggyback onto the end to make infinite enters, infinite leaves, or infinite deaths convert to an infinite win. Because the beautiful part about this loop, these 2 cards are good enough that you can justify playing them anyway. And that's another reason that I think they're garnish and not the meat of the deck, is they're just so good in isolation that like whatever thing you figure out, Continue's a good card. Archaeomancer is a good card. There are instants and sorceries worth casting again. And so the trick is going to be figuring out what is the meat that I sprinkle these on top of. If God, I really want Esper Butts to work. I really don't think it will, but I really want it to. Is Jaws of Defeat? I think Jaws of Defeat was 4 mana. Fuck, it was. We can't even. I was gonna say like Zur. We can tutor part of it, but we cannot. Ugh, yeah. So I don't think Esper Butts would be the specific payoff, as much as it pains me. But I think the payoff, the path I would take forward from here is identify a different archetype that can constitute the primary game plan of the deck. Identify a card that makes sense in that archetype that gives you a payoff for having things enter or die, and then chuck in like a 3-card Continue Archaeomancer, Phyrexian Altar, Ruthless Technomancer, like whatever the sacrifice permanent has to be, that lets you put effectively a 3-card combo into the deck and make it a 4-card combo, but all 3 cards are good enough that they can justify being in the deck anyway. And then I think we have something cooking. I think an eternity of suffering for as long as you are trying to make... Yeah, you went deep for this, dog. We went so deep for this. Yeah, I respect the hustle, but I think you are running down a long hallway to nowhere with the idea being like, this is the thing that is going to make the deck go, because it just doesn't do anything by itself. So anybody watching this video, let me know in the comments if you have ideas for this player, for archetypes that actually exist, unlike Esper Butts, that they could chuck this 2 to 3 card combo on top of. Or if I've missed something that would make this work differently than the way I've described. And Ancient Spark, I wish you the best, and I hope this helped.